Okay, so let's learn about attachment theory and how it relates to people as they age. According to this woman named Bowlby, she actually conducted a study with infants and proposed that how an infant is how secure an infant is attached to. So her mother will be reflective of their relationships with other people in the future. That's her theory. That was her trying to prove this theory by saying there's different types of attachment with caregivers and the infant, and that kind of attachment is crucial in developing a sense of relationship skills and habits as the person gets older. I don't want her to be into there's three main types that I was taught in school. I don't know if they've updated it since I've left, but three different types was there was a secure, there was an insecure attachment, and the ambivalent avoidant attachment. So the secure attachment, the actual test was there is a room, there's a stranger, and there's toys, and the infant and the mother goes into the room, and then the mother will leave, and then after a time the infant would start to show that it's in distress because there's no caregiver in the room, and that's when the stranger would attempt to soothe the infant, either through holding it or attempting to play with it, or only if in the case that the infant is actually distressed. The toys are there in the case that the infant is distracted enough to not notice the caregiver is gone, right? So that's what that attachment theory was. So infants who are securely attached to their mother, they will be upset when the mother leaves the room and be soothed immediately when she returns. They are also soothed by strangers. So when there's a securely attached infant, he will or she will be upset when the mother leaves, and then the stranger would attempt to soothe it, and it would be somewhat successful. Wouldn't be in severe distress, and then when the mother returns to the room, the infant will recognize that's its mother and be happy that she has returned. That's the secure attachment. With the insecure attachment, the infant will be anxious and be happy will regard the stranger as if that was his or her mother, and most of the time will not recognize a mother has even left. But once the mother is returned, he or she will have a hard time being able to be soothed by the presence of the mother. So it would actually cause the infant to be it would be upset for a period of time before it would be able to be soothed by the mother, and then that is when the infant would feel better and be happy about the fact the mother has returned. With ambivalent or anxious attached infants, they don't treat their mother any different than the stranger, and because of it, they actually can't be soothed by the mother when the mother returns. So this is a very low percentage. Most infants are securely attached. There's less infants who are insecure attached, and there's very few infants who are anxious ambivalent. And this doesn't go into the relationship the mother has with the infant and how it's gotten there, or her pregnancies. It's just Bowlby has controlled for those factors and then conducted the study. And with the anxious ambivalent, when the mother returns, the infant is not soothed by the mother. So once it becomes upset, and it becomes upset after some time, it doesn't become upset right away when the mother leaves or when they realizes the mother's no longer in the room, or when it notices there's a stranger attempting to soothe it. Now, they don't get soothed by the stranger, but they don't get soothed by their mother either. That would be the anxious ambivalent infant. I don't understand how this has anything to do with how they develop relationships in the future, but I think she was trying to propose. Oh, this is a research conducted by a woman. I don't know if that has anything to do with that. But Bowlby's a woman who conducted this research, and I think she's trying to say, this is her proposal, or her theory, right? Is that infants who are securely attached have a easier time understanding and establishing relationships in the future, whereas infants who are insecure attached will have a harder time establishing relationships or maintaining relationships. With infants that are anxious ambivalent, they will need a significant amount of help in order to be able to establish and maintain a relationship. With the insecure, it just be the maintenance problem. With the secure, there's actually no problem. They won't be able to recognize. The whole point is that when the infant is soothed by its mother, it knows who to trust and can rely on its mother for survival, whereas insecure, it is relying on the mother for survival, but it doesn't really seem to be able to comprehend that's their source of comfort, right? They are aware, I think, but they don't know that's their source of comfort. Yeah, so they know that this is a person who's looking after me, but they don't know that this person really, really likes me, cares about me. There's assuming that the mother actually has done everything, right? And this is just how the infant is behaving. With the ambivalent anxious, they don't seem to be able to recognize that is a caregiver. So that's the problem. That's the person that the infant's supposed to be able to trust. When the infant has a trust with their caregiver, it has an easier time. Well, actually, this translates to a different theory. I forget the theory's name, but when a toddler is more securely attached to their parents, as in the toddler trusts and relies on his parents, it has actually an easier time roaming its environment. So if a toddler went to a playground with their parents, if they were securely attached to their caregivers, they would have no problem going around and playing in the playground and exploring the area. If it wasn't, then it wouldn't want to do that. In fact, it would actually start being upset and crying because it's a new area and would require the caregiver with them at all times to explore said area. Most toddlers are fine doing that on their own. In fact, they have a lot of fun doing so. But with anxious ambivalent, they actually require the caregiver to be present and participating with them. And with the insecure, they would actually require some sort of check-in or would be hesitant to do so. I think that's her theory. She's saying that's how it's translating to how the infant behaves as it progresses in its life. Another thing being, securely attached infants now understand what is a good and isn't a good relationship, and it gets more I understand this is my mother or my father or what have you. This is my caregiver, and I care, and not that I care, but I'm aware that this person cares about me. I know that she cares about me, and I can trust her. And this is the first relationship I have in my life, and it's a good one, right? With insecure, they I know this is a caregiver, but I don't really know who she is, or I don't really trust her. But she's okay, I guess. And then the third one is, I don't know who this person is, and I don't know why she's here. Leave me alone. Yeah, that's the anxious ambivalent. It's important for an infant to have a good relationship with its caregiver. Otherwise, the person will grow up not understanding to the extent how important relationships are. And that it's okay to trust other people. Yeah. I mean, there's some pretty messed up moms out there, I'm not gonna lie, but I don't think she was testing those mothers, unless that was what she was doing in the study to prove that there's different types of attachment theory. But that entire theory goes out the window if the mother is actually abusing the kid or there's something wrong with the kid, right? Like, it's something that's diagnosable since infancy.